Hello everyone and welcome to Miss Debbie's STEM class. Before we get started with our lesson, let's say our hello song. Ready? Hello, hello. Can you clap your hands? Hello, hello. Can you clap your hands? Can you reach up high? Can you touch your toes? Can you turn around? Can you say hello, 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 hello? Can you stomp your feet? Hello, hello. Can you stomp your feet? Can you reach up high? Can you touch your toes? Can you turn around? Can you say hello, hello friends, and welcome again to Miss Debbie's STEM lesson. Today we are going to be having lots of fun. We're going to be working with science in the kitchen. Who knew there was science in your kitchen? What we are going to be doing is working with mixtures. I'm sure you've heard the word mixing in the kitchen. You mix a lot of things together when you're in the kitchen. Now, one thing Miss Debbie loves to mix together is trail mix. And this is my trail mix. I've mixed together some Cheerios and some Life cereal and raisins and nuts. I put it all together and I stir it up. And that's a mixture. I'm mixing things together. Does anything special happen after Miss Debbie mixes this cereal together? I don't see anything special happening, do you? No, nothing special. It just tastes really good. That's something special. Just not doing anything different. And if I wanted to, Miss Debbie could separate all the pieces and put them back in their containers and they'd all be separate. Another mixture that we can do in the kitchen is some water, maybe some salt. Sometimes I know when my children have a sore throat, they like to gargle with a little salt water. So we pour a little salt in there and water. We mix it together. It doesn't stay together all the time. You have to keep mixing it because it separates, just like our trail mix here. We can separate our trail mix. And here is our water mixed with salt. Is it doing anything special? No, Miss Debbie would taste this, but I think it would taste really yucky. It's not doing anything special. So those are things that we can mix together in the kitchen. Now, there are some things in the kitchen that we can mix together that do something very special. And those things are vinegar. Woo! Vinegar smells a little bit sour. And baking soda. We use a lot of baking soda when we're baking. Mixing these two things together do something very special. And that's what our lesson is all about today. So let's get started. Okay, so before we get started with our first activity, Miss Debbie's going to let you know a few things that you're going to need. For all of our experiments, Miss Debbie highly recommends a tray of some sort, or maybe even a deep bucket that you might have. Or if you're going to be working outside on a picnic table or something outside, you don't have to worry about spills. But just to be safe inside, use a tray if you're working at the table. If you're not working at the table, you could work in the kitchen sink or even the bathtub. Those are some places where you could get messy and you won't have to worry about spilling on the floor. Okay, so our first activity involves mixing some things that we have in the kitchen. And we're going to see what happens when we mix those things together. First, we're going to start with a water bottle. And it doesn't have to be this size, it can be any size. And I'm going to fill it up with some colored water. If you don't have food coloring and you want to use maybe some paint, you can mix some paint with your water. Or you can leave it clear. It doesn't have to be a color. So Miss Debbie has put her water in here. Now what I am going to do is I am going to add some vinegar to my water. This is called an acid. I'm going to be mixing an acid with my water. Okay. Phew, that stinks. Now what we're going to be doing is taking a balloon. If you have a latex allergy, please be sure not to use a balloon. We have several other activities that we're going to be doing. So if you can't touch a balloon, don't you worry. We have some other activities we can do. So what you're going to do is take a balloon, and you're going to need a funnel of some sort because you're going to be putting some baking soda into this balloon. If you don't have a funnel, Miss Debbie has a handy dandy way of making your own funnel out of a piece of paper. You are just going to fold it so that it makes a cone shape at the end and just tape it together. And then you can put your balloon over the end of your homemade funnel as well. So I am going to first start off with using some baking soda. Now we're going to be mixing baking soda with our acid. Baking soda is called a base. Now we are going to see what happens when we mix baking soda and vinegar. I'm going to put in about 3 good spoonfuls of baking soda. There we go. Give it a little tap. It's filling up our balloon. One more here. There we go. That's all in. Once you've got it filled, then you can take off your funnel and you're going to give your balloon a little twist because you don't want any of your baking soda to spill out. That'll ruin the excitement here. Now you may need the help of an adult for this. This gets a little bit tricky, but you're just going to stretch open the end of the balloon, and you are going to wrap it around the opening of the water bottle. Now hold on to the balloon until you're ready to conduct your experiment. Wonder what's going to happen. Do you have any idea what might happen? Do you think it might be like the mixture of the trail mix, when we mix something together and nothing happens? Or the salt in the water? We mix that together and nothing special happened. Somehow I have a feeling that something special is going to happen with this. So Miss Debbie is going to lift up my balloon. I'm going to untwist it very slowly. I'm going to give it a little shake. So I am shaking in all of the baking soda. Can you see what's happening to the balloon? It's filling up. I wonder what's filling up the balloon. It's air. It's carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is what we breathe out of our mouth. So when we blow up a balloon, we use carbon dioxide coming out of our mouth. And we've just made our own carbon dioxide. We made a third thing from 2 things that we mixed together. So something special happened with this mixture, and this is called a chemical reaction. Pretty cool, isn't it? You can pop off your balloon and have someone tie it for you. And you have a balloon full of air. Okay, so another thing that you can use when you are mixing the vinegar and baking soda, you can also use a glove. I'm sure many people have gloves around these days. So if you don't have a balloon, you can use a glove. Just be careful if it's a latex glove and you have a latex allergy that you don't use it. We have vinegar and water mix half and half in the glass. Doesn't matter how much you use, just have equal parts. And now my son is going to fill up the glove with about 3 spoonfuls of baking soda. Just like we did with the balloon.
Wow.
Now this experiment can be a little bit messy at times because the glove does not stay onto the glass as securely as the balloon does. But it's an option if you don't have balloons around the house. So what we're going to do is twist it a little bit so that the baking soda does not spill out.
Baking soda's in the fingers right now.
Yep. Okay, so We put an elastic around the glass to help secure the glove on, since it doesn't have as tight a fit as a balloon does. So the elastic was put on first, and then once my son puts the glove on top, he's going to put the elastic over it. Hopefully that might help hold on a little bit. But I would hold on with your hands while lifting the glove, just to make sure it doesn't fly off. But if it does, just be sure you're using a tray like we are, because expect that it's going to come off. Okay. So we're going to untwist the glove, and we're going to mix the vinegar and water with the baking soda, and we're going to see what happens. And slowly but surely going to fill up with air. Look at that. That's really cool. Hello. Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, so this activity is great for improving preschoolers' fine motor skills. And what you are going to need for this activity is a tray. You're going to need some caps. Miss Debbie found all different kinds of caps. You can even take caps off of things that you're still using. You can just wash them up when you're done and put them back on. This one's from my vinegar bottle. I have some pill bottle caps here. I can't remember what that was from. This is from my water bottle. This is a jelly cover here. So as many as you can get would make it much more fun. And what you're going to do is you are going to take some water. Miss Debbie put a little food coloring into it. And you're also going to need either a spoon or a medicine dropper. I have two different kinds here. Or a little syringe. If you don't have any of these squishy little things here, a spoon will work just fine. Miss Debbie has 4 different activities. You don't have to do all of these activities. I'm just giving you a bunch of different ideas in case you don't have some of these supplies at home. Okay, we're first going to start off by pouring water into each of the caps. Just a little bit of water. Something to start with. And everything can stay on your tray, so all the mess is contained. Then what we're going to do is spoon out a little bit of baking soda into each of the caps. And now comes the fun part. You can squirt in some food coloring into each of these caps if you'd like. If you don't have food coloring, you can also use like some Kool-Aid mix or some paints. If you have some paints, you can add a little dab of paint into each one as well. But if you don't, this is perfectly fun without those colors. So Miss Debbie has her cup of vinegar here. So I put in my base. Now I'm going to add an acid. And I'm going to use this little medicine dropper here. So this is really great for fine motor skills for the kids, and it can keep them busy for a really long time. So we're just going to put our dropper in here, and we're going to add a little bit of vinegar. To each of our cups. Let me add a little vinegar here, see if this is working any better. Vinegar here. There we go. I think I had too much water in that one. And as you can see, we have a chemical reaction going on here, just like we did with our water bottle. So that's another fun activity that we can do, experimenting with mixing things together. Something Miss Debbie wants to make sure I don't forget to mention is if you're going to be mixing things together, make sure you always get the permission of an adult. Because sometimes we can mix 2 things together and what happens might be really dangerous. So Miss Debbie doesn't want you to ever mix some things together without the permission of an adult. Okay, so now we have another fun activity. And this activity helps you to see the air or the carbon dioxide that's created from mixing the baking soda with the vinegar together as well. Now what we're going to do is get a plastic baggie. Doesn't matter what size, any size you have. You're going to take your plastic baggie and you're going to fill it up with a little bit of water. Miss Debbie recommends doing this one maybe in a sink or outside on your deck or on the grass, because what's going to happen is this is going to pop. There's also an option where you don't have to have it pop, and I will show you that option as well. Stand back a little bit. None of these materials that we're using are toxic or can hurt you, but I would hate to have something fly into your eye. So with this activity, just stand back a little bit once you have the bag zippered, and I'll show you when that happens. So now what we're going to do is I am going to add a little bit of food coloring to this one too, so that you can see it a little bit better. I have some blue food coloring there, and that's my water. Now I'm going to pour in some of my vinegar. And then Miss Debbie has poured some baking soda onto some toilet paper. Or if you have tissue paper, you can use that as well. And what I'm going to do is fold it over and fold it over again and make it like a little pouch. And I am going to quickly put this into my Ziploc bag and zip up the pouch. So if you don't think you can do that fast enough, you might want to have a parent help you and you could watch. So Miss Debbie is going to gently put this in here. I am going to zip up my bag. And this is the option that you do if you don't want it to pop. You can just watch it slowly fill up with air. As we can see, there's a chemical reaction going on here. From mixing two things together, they're making a third thing. They're making carbon dioxide. Now, if I shake this a little bit more, Miss Debbie's bag might pop. And Miss Debbie is going to step back. It didn't pop. That's why we call it an experiment. Because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I have done this before and it has popped. So when you try this at home, shake it right away. Give your bag a little bit of shake like this and it should pop right away. Nope, it's not going to pop for me today. But that is another way that we can mix things together. Okay, so our final activity is making a volcano. Now, if you're going to be doing this activity outside, you can either use a big bucket or you can just work in the sand or the grass or wherever you'd like to work. What you're going to need if you work outside is a plastic cup. Miss Debbie has a glass cup here that I'm using. A plastic cup. I filled it up with a little bit of water and some red food coloring. If you don't have food coloring, that's fine. So I have my food coloring that I've added into that. What I'm also going to need is a spoon, some baking soda, some vinegar, and some dish detergent. If you don't have dish detergent, if you have some hand soap, that would work out great as well. So what we're going to do is we are going to start off with our cup full of some colored water or some plain water. And we are going to pretend that we are making a volcano. Now, volcanoes erupt. That means that they shoot up out of a hole in a mountain. And the chemical reaction that happens shoots up out of the cup, just like a volcano. So we put in our water. We are now going to add some vinegar. And we are also going to add, where is that? A good squeeze of your dish soap or your hand soap. Look at the colors mixing together. It's like our color mixing lesson last week. Now what you're going to do is take a spoon and mix these ingredients together pretty good. Now, what do you think is going to happen because we added soap to our mixture here? Do you think it's going to be a little bit different than the other mixtures that we've made? Let's find out. So now what we're going to do is we are going to add our baking soda. We're going to take a good spoonful of baking soda and we're going to mix it in, and we are going to watch our volcanic explosion. Look at that, it's pretty cool. And we can keep adding some more baking soda. You can even experiment with adding some more vinegar and see what happens. Adding some more soap, maybe stirring it up a bit and scooping in some of this stuff that's spilt out and stirring it up again. So there's lots of different ways that you could experiment with this activity. Also, if you wanted to, if you have a party hat, you could try to put that over your glass or over a water bottle. You could also use this paper to make a cone and put it over. I'm not sure how well it's going to work when it's paper, but for one try it might work, and you could see if it could come out of the spout. So that's our last activity, and I hope you enjoyed yourself, and we'll be back in just a minute for our goodbye song. Okay, well, we're all done making some chemical reactions. I hope you had lots of fun. So we are going to end our lesson with our goodbye song. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye, goodbye. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye, goodbye. We've had lots of fun, my friend, and we'll do it all again. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye, friends. Miss Debbie misses you all so much, and until we see each other again, stay happy and healthy, my friends. Bye.